Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining the Live in Divine Harmony podcast. I'm Karmen, your divine synergist of Heart's Joy. As an awakened person of purpose, my destiny is to shed light on the paths of those who are open to living a life of freedom, self awareness, passion, and clarity about their purpose in life. Every week, we have a discussion, and this week's discussion on the podcast is focused on learning how to navigate these current energies. So, thank you for those of you who are tuning in live. You get the opportunity to ask questions. So, feel free to share with us your name, where you're from, share how are you feeling right now, maybe what's been happening in your life, and any questions that you may have. And let's have this conversation. My intention for tonight is to help you during this time. It feels a little wonky, it feels a little off, and um, it is. And so let's riff about what is currently happening. For those replayers, um, yes, let's hear from you as well. Thank you so much for joining. And for those of you who are tuning in, listening to this on that actual podcast, the audio, I highly invite you and encourage you to join us on YouTube because I would love to hear from you as well. As always, be sure to like, share this video, subscribe, making sure that you never miss another discussion. So, since we don't have any questions yet, I'm just going to share with you some information that I received today, along with the obvious, which is so today is June 20th, and tomorrow, where I live, is the summer solstice. And so, for those of you who are not familiar with the summer solstice, it's one, the beginning of summer, and two, it's the juiciness of the sun. It's a time of nourishment and movement. And it's also the longest day of the year. And when you think about that, I find it interesting, okay, from a human perspective. Isn't it the longest day of the year that starts summer and then every day gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter? I think there's something to be said about that. And I'd love to hear from you. So, the other thing that's happening in conjunction with summer solstice is we've been experiencing mass amounts of light that's been coming into our bodies. What does that mean? Well, when you look at the Schumann resonance, which the Schumann resonance is what they call the Earth's heartbeat. It used to be single digits, frankly. So anything under 10 is what it used to register at. And think of it as it takes the heartbeat, the pulse of the world, okay, of Earth. And it's the other day when I looked, and especially this last weekend, again, it spiked up to like 60s and 70s. And this started to happen. I can't remember if it was the end of 2019, definitely in 2020, it started to happen. Why? Well, I believe it's because we've been shifting from this third dimensional energy to this fifth dimensional energy. That's what a lot of people are calling the new earth. It's not a place, a physical place. It's all vibration. It's a vibration. Energy vibrates at different levels, if you will, different vibrations. Energy cannot be made nor destroyed. And it's really not good nor bad. Those are all labels that we've given it as humans. And there's a gal I follow on TikTok, Ashlight Star, and she gives these fabulous Schumann resonance updates. I think she's on Instagram too. Go check her out. And I was watching it over the weekend because I was very much aware of how I was feeling. And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute about why it's important to check in with your body and notice how you feel. And I kept looking at it on my phone. There's an app you can download, and I just kept seeing the spikes happen. And it's heightening because we are going through a transformation. So much to be said. Go check her out. Ashlight Star is her screen name. Go check her out. She did a video today talking about how um, some people have either received their etherical wings or upgrades to their etherical wings, which I truly felt like I received my wings, I think it was last year, because you get pain in your shoulder blades. So that's also happening as well. And as this is all simultaneously happening, you also have solar flares. Again, there's an app. I get a notification on the type of solar flare that's coming in, the magnitude, and it's something to be aware of. Always listen to your body. And by the way, anytime as I'm sharing this information, please ask questions in the comments, share with us, let us know what's coming up for you at this time. So, really listen to your body. That's your intuition talking to you. And that's anytime our body feels something off, it's our body's way of saying, hey, listen, because every body part, the different sides of our body all mean something. They all mean something. You know, I've known a lot of people in the past who have passed away, and they were people who were always on the go, and they never listened to their body. They never tuned into themselves. And next thing you know, they had whatever it was, XYZ, that they experienced, and it got so far down the road that could have been dealt with if they were to have gotten still and listened to it and headed off the path. So right now, really tune into your body. Notice how you're feeling, why you're feeling that way. This is something I talk about in the masterclass, the mini class that I just gave, the upcoming masterclass, to help you really understand. I have a few tools to give you to do this, to really help you understand every single day where you are at that particular time. Because every day the energy shifts. Every few hours the energy shifts, but especially every day the energy shifts. Be sure to always ground, drink lots of water, bask in the sunlight, especially on a summer solstice, and in general. Do what you can to get outside, allow nature to do its magic, and cleanse your energy field while you're out there. I used to joke around with a coworker when I worked in corporate land about her hugging a tree. She'd shared a story with me how she ended up hugging a tree one night. And I just thought that was so funny. And that was before I had my awakening. And it's like, that's actually very healthy for us to hug a tree, to talk with nature. I have conversations all the time with the animals that come across my path. All right, so get outside. Keep in mind, as you're doing this healing work and showing up, make sure that you are taking care of your body, because your body's always the last to shift. So your energy shifting, your perspective shifts, this, that, and the other, whatever it is that needs to shift for you is going to shift. And then your physical body is always the last to shift. So even though maybe you went through an awakening several years ago, it's still a process. And so here's what I saw earlier today was I saw just the earth, and it kept going back and forth. And then they showed me a teeter-totter underneath it. And it was almost like the energies of what's happening right now. It's taking us one way to the next, one to the next. It's trying to find the harmony. By the way, I don't talk about balance. Balance is really difficult for us humans to find in my experience anyway. And so it's like Earth's energies are having a difficult time finding the harmony. We're going from one extreme to the next. So it's almost like when you look at the Schumann resonance, that's what's happening as well. It's spiking at 60 and 70, and then it goes back down. And then it spikes up again, and then it goes back down. That's impacting you. It's impacting you on all the levels. So you get to choose whether to fight it, be angry about it, or really work and harness these energies. What's been happening, and this is a lot of it, in my opinion, is because Pluto's in retrograde. We have 2 planets in retrograde. We finally left the post-shadow period of Mercury. Yay. The things that we have not wanted to see about ourselves, and maybe it's because it could be that you don't want to see it, or it's just that deeper layer that you haven't seen yet, is coming up for review. So keep that in mind. If there's something that keeps coming up for you and you feel like it's, this lesson that keeps coming up, ask yourself, what's really going on? What's that underlying layer? Because it's almost like it's coming up for you to throw you on the other side of the teeter-totter for you to go deal with it. I had mentioned several months ago that, I don't think it was on here, I think it was a video I did on social media, where I shared how I used to never want to see the bad. I used to never want to look at the evil. And when we do that, when we close our eyes to it, we can't heal it. We can't denounce it. We can't denounce it. You can't transmute those energies. You just can't. Because you're not acknowledging that it's even there. And right now, it is in our face. The evil is in our face for us to heal, for us to transmute. And again, it goes back to that teeter-totter of what they showed me today. So however that resonates for you. I had said, I think maybe back in 2020, 2021, that, certain people really wanted us to have a civil war. And frankly, it's here. It's just not playing out how we thought a civil war would play out, or how it did in the past. So it's going to help us. It's going to hurt us not to acknowledge it, frankly. It's really going to hurt us. It's going to help us to shift out of it and to frankly move past it, to say we are in World War III. No one is coming to save us. Yes, a lot of things I'm going to say tonight are controversial, and I'm going to speak my truth. I believe that Jesus is not coming to save us, because we get to rise up to save ourselves. We're the ones who got ourselves in this mess. And we're the ones who can get ourselves out. We have the power to do that. We're just choosing to put our blinders on and to not look at the evil, and to just say everything's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Someone else is going to come to save us, because that's what we've been taught. And no one is coming to save us at all. Do I believe that Jesus is there guiding us? Absolutely. It's up to you to listen to that guidance. It's up to you to be the boots on the ground for God, for Jesus. It's up to us to take back our power, instead of just sitting around wondering when this is all going to go away. So, looking here at some of the notes that I had that came up for me earlier today. When you really, really look at everything, This is about healing yourself. I've mentioned it several times now, and I mentioned it at the beginning of this year. This is the year for us to do healing work, to heal our trauma. And when people would talk about trauma in the past, I used to think, yeah, that's yours, that's not mine. I haven't had any trauma. I'm fine. And I laugh because everybody's experienced trauma. Again, it's going to look different for everyone. And as I've been along this healing journey since 2019, I've learned the different ways of that I've experienced trauma, that it truly is trauma. It's just not widely recognized as trauma. So if that word trauma triggers you, you get upset or angry, use a different word, but don't bury it because it's coming up for a reason in order for you to heal it. So the relationship with ourself is incredibly important. It's in my experience, it's the first relationship. It's the last relationship. And when we don't have the relationship with ourselves, that impacts every other relationship we have. And it's also the foundation for the relationship with God, for your relationship with Jesus. It is that foundation. And it's up to us to cultivate that. And so many times we put ourselves on back burner. We've told ourselves we're not worthy enough. We've been taught by society that, basically put yourself on fire to help everybody else, that's okay. And it's not. And I invite you to listen to the last podcast if you haven't already, because I talk about how it's, again, that teeter-totter of the harmony between working on ourselves, healing ourselves, and still living in our purpose. We've got to be able to, I don't want to say it that way. When we heal ourselves, we can effectively live in our purpose, live our purpose, live on purpose. Be boots on the ground for God is frankly what I call our purpose. If you're still dealing with trauma, though, it's going to be really difficult for you to live on purpose effectively. And it's in layers. So honor that. I don't think that ever goes away because we're going to be triggered. I hope I'm getting my point across. Be sure not to go all-encompassing. It's all about you. Part of your life purpose is to be in contribution, share your gifts with other people. And you can't do that if you're solely focused on yourself. And if you won't look at all the evil that's going on. It's time that we stand up in our sovereignty. So if you're having trouble doing that, ask yourself why. What's really happening? Now, the How to Exit the Matrix course, that launches soon, here mid-July. That gives you the tools to help you see how you've taken on all these different stories from society, from your family, from growing up, frankly, and how they're showing up in your lives. And you're going to receive tools in there to start to break those down so that you're no longer living that old story. Great example. You could have a story of what success looks like for you. Maybe you were taught that you have to work in corporate land, and you have to work an 8-to-5 job, and you have to wear a suit, and you have to look a certain way. Maybe you think you can never go outside with makeup or be on social media with makeup. Those are all stories that have been given to us. even churches, um, the ones who talk a lot about who are focused on religion, and religion is different than kingdom. So religion is definitely there's a division. We're right, you're wrong. Anytime you find yourself in those conversations, immediately that's division. And if you don't do it our way, you're going to go to hell. That's another piece of religion. So that too is a story that we've been given. And what I've noticed with certain clients, that's another reason why they don't go to church anymore. Because and what happens is they've said, I'm not going to church because I disagree with this, that, and the other. And then they kick everything out, including their relationship with God. So ask yourself, where along the way have you given up on yourself? And how can you get that back? And I have done several podcasts about this. You can go back and listen to. Please reach out to me. If you'd like support along your journey, you can join our online community. You can schedule a discovery call. We can have this conversation. All of the courses are starting up here very soon. We've got the Creating a Life You Love Masterclass, Live on Purpose course, where we do get you to your, we get you to your why. Okay, you start to navigate through the weeds for the purpose, because your purpose gets louder and louder and bigger and bigger. And how to exit the matrix course as well. Now, with this summer solstice, it's time to ask yourself, what is it that you really want? We are halfway through 2022. And I feel like it's gone just like that. And it's, by the way, it's going to continue to do so because, and I hear different things. I've heard, well, there are no more timelines. Timelines are shifting. I hear all sorts of different things. At some point, they're going to completely collapse, I think. Or at least time as we know it is going to collapse. That's just my personal thought. Because I have found myself looking, going, that whole time thing is not, it's definitely changed. It's not the same. And if you have questions about that, up in the chat, let me know. I'd love to hear from you what your experience with time has been. So go back in, and this is what we do in the master classes. We go back and we review, where have you been, what's been working, what hasn't been working, and then focus on your goal, right? Focus on your goals for every life area, and then that one goal that you really want to accomplish. Now is the time to do that. It's a beautiful time because we're halfway through 2022. Set yourself up for a win. Set yourself up to have that thing that you've been wanting, to accomplish your dreams, to have them come true. Because through all the chaos that's happening right now and the fear that's going on right now, which is again why I saw the teeter-totter earlier today, you can have your dream life. It's all up here. You've got everything. It's all in your body. Let me see if the computer will let me do this. I'm going to drop a link here below. Anyone has any questions, please feel free to let me know. So I don't think it's going to let me drop the link below, and that's okay. You can go to hearts-joy.com. In the middle of the page, you can schedule a free discovery call. You can see everything that's out there and available to you. Be sure to, again, subscribe, like, share this video. I'm going live on multiple different platforms, so be sure to make sure you have notifications on. I go live every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if there's maybe a topic or something that you'd like for me to talk about, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. That's a part of the co-creation that we have. All right.